At last, XRP makes a breakthrough and becomes widely used. What are the consequences? Jay Claver and Alan Crypto are here to take us through the whole situation. Oh, and we also have some brand new footage from Paul Barron. We have a ton of information and updates on this one, and Matt Hogan is also contributing his most recent thoughts on XRP and Ripple Prime. Let's get right into it, no fluff. There is far too much great content to waste time on. Listen to this. I woke up every day for a year and a half trying to find out how I was mistaken. Like Michael Burry, isn't that right? For example, you have a thesis and a conviction, but if you're smart and a critical thinker, you realize that you don't know everything. You then attempt to expose flaws in your own thesis. I was also unable to puncture it. Again, I don't consider myself to be the world's most intelligent person. I am not nearly as intelligent as some folks. However, after spending so much time on it, considering it critically and going over everything, I simply concluded that this will undoubtedly be widely adopted and used to grease the payment rails and the back-end settlement for institutions as well as the back end of the stock market, other markets, and international commerce. In light of all the various events that have transpired during its 13-year existence, it is truly the only item that is strategically positioned to be able to facilitate that. As a result, I am once more a long-term investor. When it comes to investments, I believe that the time horizon should be at least 4 years. You see, I decided to put all of my money into XRP in 22. Thus, we haven't even reached the 4-year timeline I had first set for myself. We're near. Yes, I will have held this consolidated role for almost 4 years on February 26th. And I believed that by then, at the very least, there would be a noticeable improvement. And we've already witnessed a 10x increase in value for the amount of XRP I purchased. So, however, I believe that the upside will continue to exist. And for that reason, even at $2 and $3, I continue to stay here and maintain my dollar cost average. In the long run, I think this asset will reach $100,000 within the next 10 years, possibly much more quickly than most people understand. Imagine $100,000 being spent over the course of the following 10 years. Take a moment to consider that. We're in multi-billionaire paradise, in my opinion. On the map, where does that place you? I get that it feels almost absurd to say these stuff out, but 10 years from now, that's my reality. Here's the offer, regardless of whether it actually soars to $100,000. I'm drinking champagne from 8 to 10,000. I fall asleep like a newborn when I hear that number. Take a listen to this. We have spoken with a few fund managers that have just introduced XRP ETFs here, and they have all had great success. Do you believe that we are currently in a stage when institutional legitimacy being presented on Wall Street, combined with institutional and retail demand, has begun to propel XRP to the level of the Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs? We're heading in that way, I believe. Stablecoins are the subject of an intriguing story, in my opinion. One of the few chains with a stablecoin of its own, the RLUSD, is XRP. And that, in my opinion, gives a new dimension to what they may accomplish in terms of creating a business around the chain. Remember that the enormous rise in computer-to-computer transactions that will begin to take place is, in my opinion, one of the most fascinating prospects of these new rails. When we observe that more individuals become accustomed to Web3 models, correct? We've been looking to partner with and work more with Ripple over the past few years because I believe that when you have your own stablecoin and you have a chain that is already public and has an independent verification network running around it, this starts to become, in my opinion, a pretty interesting business case. XRP is the cryptocurrency goldmine that you should be hoarding at this very moment. Ruins Solana, humiliates Ethereum, and demolishes Bitcoin. We're going to go back to this precise moment in time and recognize that we really dug down, figured out what was going on behind the scenes, and took full advantage of this chance, regardless of the price that is currently flashing on your screen. And I'm racing toward the finish line when we all get together to celebrate those huge victories. All right, hold on. Did he actually say that a few years ago? Hold on while I raise that again. Listen to this. Everyone is curious in how you obtained the XRP ticker symbol, Matt. There you have it. Prime real estate. Hunter Horsley, our CEO of Bitwise, deserves all the praise. These tickers were reserved a few years ago. Therefore, you must ask the NASDAQ or New York Stock Exchange to reserve these tickers if you intend to introduce an exchange-traded fund, ETF, linked to them. You must then demonstrate that you intend to achieve it. You must demonstrate that you are moving in that direction. And when we search through our archive, we find that it was a few years ago, Hunter. We wanted to reserve this because we knew we were heading into XRP, I told Teddy. I'm ecstatic to have that ticker. The ticker is significant, but it's not everything. That is the recognizable ticker, of course. Therefore, having that for launch was fantastic. Yes, without a doubt. That clip was really crammed with precious items, man. It was loaded with gold. Okay, have a look at this. This on tokenization was recently posted by Ondo Finance. Pay attention to this one. I want institutions to know that they cannot afford to wait any longer. Now is the moment. Now is the time to get involved. You are most likely on the menu if you are not seated at the table. Since first movers are currently influencing the market, establishing the guidelines, and effectively controlling a portion of the value chain, I would advise taking action right away rather than waiting for it. It will also be far more difficult for those who are still waiting to re-enter as followers. If you're aware, adopting a fast-forward technique won't be the best course of action when considering this actively. I sincerely hope that we can discover this lovely middle ground by combining the best aspects of TradFi and DeFi. Crypto has evolved from the Wild West. The field of cryptocurrency has advanced significantly. Infrastructure and regulations are in place. As I mentioned before, we are witnessing a radical shift in attitudes and regulations. Numerous factors are coming together to either assist or create the circumstances for the adoption of digital assets. Digital assets should be viewed as opportunities rather than threats. Additionally, you'll benefit in the long run the sooner you accept it. You will gain a first-mover advantage that will be extremely infectious. You will discover that we can assist you if you come. I support the institutional wave that Ondo is driving. Okay, the first half hour. Once again, Bitwise is dominating. In terms of volume, XRP ETFs are anticipating another $20–30 million haul today. We also have liftoff. 21 shares fall, confirming that they are in holding pattern mode while they wait for Toxer to receive the final approval stamp from the SEC. I'm genuinely perplexed as to why they chose that ticker. As far as I can determine, there is no relation to XRP, yet there are no complaints here. Run with it if that's their play. Okay, releasing Bitcoin's bonds. I'll light this one up. Take a listen to this, go deeper into Ethereum, even if you are just looking at this table. Goodbye. Starting to participate in some of these growth stories, releasing yourself from some of the macro-contained investing thesis, and sort of breaking the bonds of Bitcoin alone right away. I would like to mention that our investors are becoming more intelligent in their conversations. Bitcoin is the first, followed by Ethereum and a plethora of other things, including privacy and speedier blockchains. I would also include Chainlink, which is really relevant to our investors today and provides essential infrastructure for tokenization and decentralized. Without Chainlink's significant contribution, it is nearly impossible to see those use cases taking off. So we're at precisely these kinds of discussions. Yes, as well as interoperability like Axelar, which is perhaps unknown to most people but is now established